o'clock call, they'll be able to catch up. But good morning. My name is Chelsea. I do know most of you, but for those of you who I do not know, I am the Player Development Coordinator and Foundation Activity Director for the Michigan PGA. It's really great to be here today with you. During the month of October, Kim and I have hosted several webinars, and we hope that they have provided you with some useful information during the off season in order to plan for your 2021 year. This is our fourth and final webinar, but if you've missed any of the webinars, they are on our website under the PGA Junior League tab. You can catch up there, or if you are on YouTube, they are also uploaded to the Michigan PGA YouTube account as well. Today's webinar, we highly encourage you guys to participate and ask questions at any point along the way. But we do ask that you keep yourself on mute if you are not actively speaking. The mute is sometimes it disappears, but if you hover your mouse over the bottom, you'll see the mute. And then there is a chat in the upper kind of right-hand corner. There's a little chat. So if you feel more comfortable asking questions through there, feel free to. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And today's topic is PGA Family Cup. And I'm going to let Kim kind of give a brief overview of that.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Chelsea. So for those of you that may not know, my name is Kim Schaefer, and I am both a PGA and an LPGA member, and I am the Regional League Manager for the Indiana, Michigan, Northern, and Southern Ohio PGA sections. So in the Michigan section, I work really closely with Chelsea to assist you with all of your player development needs. And we've found these webinars are a very good way for us to connect professionals with one another to share their best practices. So we're super excited about today's topic, which is PGA Family Cup. So the absolute most obvious question is, what is PGA Family Cup? So PGA Family Cup is basically kind of a natural evolution from PGA Junior League. And what we've noticed is that PGA Junior League games, that there's lots of family members attending. So we have tons of spectators. So whether they're walking or they're, renting spectator carts, we've got, aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, grandparents, all out there watching PGA Junior League games. So our thought is, how can we get all of those family members off the cart paths and actually onto the golf course? And that's where the brilliance of PGA Family Cup comes in. In 2020, there were a handful of facilities that basically served as pilot host sites for the PGA Family Cup concept. And what we found is that the reviews and the surveys that we're getting from the families are just through the roof with positive feedback. So for example, the first round of surveys just came back, and I checked the numbers earlier today. And for the PGA professionals that hosted the events, they're what they call their net promoter score, which is basically a way to measure their happiness with the program. Their net promoter score was 100. So that means all of the pros that have hosted and filled out the surveys gave a perfect score of 10 out of 10. There wasn't even one 9 out of 10. They all loved it so much they gave it 10 out of 10. And then for the consumers, for the families that were actually participating in the program, the net promoter score right now is 83, which is astronomical. To put that in perspective, the PGA Junior League net promoter score from last year was 73. And that is also astronomical because most youth sports have a score of anywhere from like 30 to 60. So these new NPS scores that we're getting back from the Family Cup really showcase how much the families are enjoying this overall experience. So in 2021, PGA Family Cup is going to be launched nationwide. And so now you're going to have that opportunity to bring PGA Family Cup to your facility. And there's just really no better way to connect with your families and strengthen not only your relationship with them, but to help them strengthen their relationships with one another than through golf together on the golf course. So I'm going to let Chelsea kind of fill you in on the details of the format.
Yeah, so I am really excited about Family Cup and the opportunity that it presents. The format is really similar to PGA Junior League in that it features a two-person scramble with substitutes made every 3 holes. Teams can be made up of players from 2 to 6 in a family, And then we do highly encourage extended family members, neighbors, friends, however the consumer defines family. So we aren't out there, making sure that it's actually coming from the nuclear family. However, now that we're kind of in this era of COVID, it does provide that safe space for the nuclear family to kind of get out and have some entertainment and fun. The 2 players are going to be competing in the scramble. One must be an adult and one must be a junior. Junior is defined as 17 and under, an adult is 18 and older. But this allows, like the 18-year-old cousin to play with their 14-year-old cousin, or a grandparent can play with their grandchild. And every 3 holes, you can substitute players in and out. So there's a lot of flexibility in the format. You can decide to have a 9-hole event or an 18-hole event. You can also play with the different sets of tees, or you can set up the golf course to be only par 3s to provide more opportunities for beginner players and have some freedom in design to kind of tailor that to your family's needs. So it's really flexible in the way that we set it up. You can make it as competitive or as family friendly and welcoming as you see fit for your consumers and your members.
Yeah, to add on to what Chelsea was saying, there's so much flexibility, and we purposely set it up that way so that your consumers, your families, and you can put together exactly the type of event that you believe will serve them best. Another example of kind of the flexibility is you might want to run a single event, or you might want to run a series of events. So I know this year we had several people that did kind of their PGA Junior League season, and then they used the Family Cup as a single event at the end of the year, kind of like an end of the year celebration for their PGA Junior League season. We also had several facilities that decided to do a series of events. And what I did find out was that a lot of the facilities that originally signed up for a single event actually came back after their single event and said, you know what, we kind of want to run more. So we ended up, helping them set up more events as well, because their families were actually having so much fun that they wanted to do it again. So you do have the flexibility to do either a single event or do a series event. You also have full flexibility in how you want to price your program. So very similar to PGA Junior League, there will be a fee that will be collected by the PGA of America. And you, as the host site, will receive not only tee gifts, but you'll also receive awards. Now, that fee right now, they're right smack dab this week as we talk. They're in the middle of the budget process for this for next year. So I don't know the exact fee yet, but I know like in past years, you probably have noticed like for PGA Junior League that there was a $75 fee. I'm sure something similar will come out for PGA Family Cup once they determine the exact budget and the fee that it will be. But you will receive both awards and tee gifts. So, for example, this first year, we got rave reviews on the awards, which were done by Signs by the Sea, and they were really, really high quality awards. Everybody enjoyed those. And then the tee gifts are something that we try to make very family friendly. So, for example, something the entire family could enjoy, like a family photo frame, or things along that line. So we're looking right now into exactly what those tee gift options might be for next year, but I'm sure that it'll be something that your entire family will enjoy and like to use together. So you'll get both the awards and the tee gifts when you register. And then you can go from there and, just like PGA Junior League, determine what you would like the price structure to be for the rest of your program.
Yeah, and when you're determining the fee for the rest of the program, you want to consider including, if you're including the greens fees and cart fees and food and beverage fee all into what they're registering online at, or if you want to be charging a la carte. So one of those things that we did at the section, we were attempting to host a section event this last year. Unfortunately, it did get canceled. But some of the things that we considered with that is we had the team fee when the players were registering, and that included 2 lunch tickets, the entire family's greens fees, and 1 golf cart. And then additional things could be purchased a la carte at the event site. So it's something that you can either choose to roll everything in, and maybe at your facility, if you're at a private club, cart fees aren't necessarily a thing. And then you're really only looking at your costs for food and beverage and greens fees for the families. You can charge on the website, or you can make it so that it's a la carte and the families can kind of choose. We also have recommend having some extra activities on site. So a few of the professionals have featured different awards for like best decorated cart or team spirit for the family that is best dressed. We've heard some really great stories about families and the kids really getting involved into these different themes, and they had a blast putting together their cart decorations or their team uniform. So keep in mind these awards as you kind of go through the planning process, so that you can really get the involvement from some of the non-competitive families and the opportunity to participate and win an award.
Yeah, along those same lines that Chelsea just mentioned, I just heard some stories from this last weekend where some of the family cups that were held, since Halloween's coming up, the families all wore their costumes and they decorated their carts in Halloween themes, and there was just all sorts of fun and excitement. Everybody had a really, really good time with that. I've also heard some other best practices from pros that hosted this year, and they did some activities on site that actually had nothing to do with golf, but maybe allowed some other siblings or grandparents to participate. So for example, near the first tee box, they had like a cornhole competition or a water balloon toss. One professional on the first tee box had some music playing and had a microphone out there and was allowing the teams to create their own team name, and then was announcing them by their fun team names that they had created. So, just a lot of different ways to make it as fun as possible and really get all of the family members involved. Even those that we're going to refer to as non-golfing family members had a really, really good time at some of these events. I know Joe kind of posted a question there in the chat channel, and it is a per team fee rather than a per player fee for that you would be paying to the PGA. And we've received a lot of feedback on this from the consumers, and they really, really liked having a per team fee rather than a per individual playing fee. And the main reason why is they said that, maybe grandma or the 7-year-old would not have paid to play in the event if it was a per player fee, but with just a team fee, they felt like, oh, hey, go ahead and come on out. We've already paid, and so then they would get more of their family members involved by doing a per team fee. So whatever that fee is eventually going to be, it would be per team rather than per individual. So those are just a few things that we have to share with you about PGA Family Cup. And I'm going to let Chelsea kick us off with our guest speakers today, because we have a couple host facilities who had extremely awesome PGA Family Cup experiences this year, and we want to take this time to kind of learn from them.
Yeah, so we do have a couple of our professionals who hosted pilot events this last year. We have David Chase from the Country Club of Lansing and Steve Schoonerman and Kevin McKinley from Treetops Resort here today with us. So guys, thank you so much for your time. And David, we're going to start with you. What was the biggest takeaway from your PGA Family Cup event at the Country Club of Lansing?
Yeah, thanks. So I think our biggest takeaway was really, I guess we started our summer with just our most successful junior golf program yet. We had a really great in-house league. So that kind of fed into a good family cup. We did our PGA Junior League was in the mornings, so we were able to offer our family cup as kind of an event that evening after our championship, or how we call it at the Country Club, with a Capital City Cup. So, and I was honestly kind of worried that our parents would sign up last minute and I wouldn't be able to get tee gifts in time, but actually we ended up selling out weeks before the event. We were at full capacity, so didn't have to worry about that. But I think one of my biggest takeaways from the event was just how easy it was to run, which for any assistant pros in the chat, they love to hear that. I mean, we had, for one, it was one tee there, you know, so for PGA Junior League, you have to set up your different tee boxes. For other tournaments, you set up your different tee boxes. It was just, we had one tee. We went with the par 3 on every hole format. The PGA supplied scorecards, so we had scorecards already ready to go with the brand on it. I was able to give everyone the rules at check-in, so and a lot of the parents were already familiar with the rules to begin with. So check-in went really smooth, and then I think the best part was that our event only lasted about 1.5 hours, which totally blew my mind because we ran PGA Junior League in previous years in evenings starting at 5, and we still had kids on the course like after 8. And it was just kind of like our parents would get off the course and they were so grumpy because their kids were out there playing so slow. And it went, we were done in an hour and a half. And it was kind of, I think what that helped feed into was that out of all of our events all year, our club championships are any events we had all year, this was the only event that I had every single team standing at the scoreboard, like watching me write my numbers up because they want to know who won. Like it was the coolest thing that we never have that. It's always just, here's my scorecard, see you later. But this was just everybody that played in the event. All the spectators were just making this big mob around the scoreboard, watching the numbers go up. And I think part of that is just because of that team atmosphere, but also because of how it only lasted an hour and a half. Another thing that benefited the club was that every single team stuck around to eat afterwards because, like I said, it was an hour and a half. It wasn't like a 3-hour thing and they were like, guys, I just want to go home. Like we've been here too long. It was an hour and a half. They all got dinner after. So I think that definitely by far one of my biggest takeaways was just how easy the event was to run, because we were a little skeptical. It was a new event. We weren't sure how it was going to go, and that was just really great. Is it all right if I share a story from our event now?
Absolutely, okay. Please do.
So I have to share this one story because it was definitely by far my coolest moment of the whole summer. We have a member at our club, and he's been a member for a really long time. One of the things he's known for is he has a hole-in-one on each of the par 3s at our course. And he loves golf. And not only does he love golf, he tries to make sure that his kids and his grandkids and every generation will also love golf. So his kids are members, his grandkids are members and in our PGA programs. And he was out there all summer long. I would do lessons with their grandkids, and then he would take them out on the course after. And they truly, truly look up to this guy. Like he is their superhero. They absolutely love him. So, because the way the Family Cup's set up, I was able to have all of them play together. So he was on a team with one of his grandkids. One of his sons was on a team with another grandkid, and another one of his sons on a team with another grandkid. But also, all of their wives were out there. Their other grandkids that don't play golf yet, or maybe do play golf but didn't want. They're all out there. We probably had, I would say, probably about 4 or 5 of his kids out there, maybe 7 to 8 grandkids, and he had a hole-in-one. And it was, I saw him after the event when they all just came storming up to the scoreboard, and I could hear like everybody screaming how he had a hole-in-one. And I've never seen somebody more happy in my life. His face was actually glowing, and I asked him, I was like, well, how many hole-in-ones do you have? Because I know you have one on each hole. And he's like, yeah, you're right. This is my 5th hole-in-one. But by far my most favorite one and my most special one I'll ever have because everybody was there. And I think that's kind of the key thing that I wanted to, and the reason why I wanted to tell that story was that that's a moment that I know every single one of them will never forget. I know he'll never forget it, but I also know for a fact his grandkids will never forget that moment. And that moment was made at our course. It wasn't somewhere else. It wasn't, it was at our course during that event. And it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for that event. So I think if anything else, just remember you're giving a chance for these kind of moments to be made at your course.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, David. That is a really cool story and definitely memories created there. But it sounds like your families have really, really enjoyed the PGA Family Cup experience Do you guys plan on doing anything different at your facility for 21 with Family Cup?
Yeah, we're absolutely going to have family cups again for sure, but we're kind of looking into ways to just capitalize on it even more. We're talking about maybe doing one to kick off the junior league season and then one to end it. We ran a fall league for the first time this year, and we're trying to squeeze in a family cup at the end of that fall league, but just with weather and kids going back to school, that ended up not working. So, but I still like the idea of having more than one family cup if possible. So we're kind of talking about maybe putting one to kick off the season, and that way we'll have like the bookends of the season for PGA Junior League. But also we're also trying to work on ways to kind of capitalize now that we know how long it will take to play. So we've got that hour and a half. So, do we run like mini putt 5-hole contest that they can do before or after? Just different things like that. Because now that we know they're not going to be out there for 3 hours, and that like this is their thing, like what other events can we do there? So that's kind of been part of the planning process, but we're going to try to tack on more things for sure, just to make sure the event can be even more of a success.
That's awesome. David, I appreciate you sharing all that. And you definitely had one of the best Family Cup stories, I think, nationwide this year with the hole-in-one with the beloved grandfather there. So I'm glad you're able to share that with us today. That's awesome. I would love to hear from Steve and Kevin at Treetops as well. For the two of you, what would you say your families enjoyed most about your PGA Family Cup event?
How about I bat lead off, Steve, and then you clean her up if you have anything else. But I guess I just think the flexibility of how to build those teams. There were several scenarios where one of the parents or maybe grandparents just that might have been their only outing of the year, and in that case, they love the idea of the whole subbing in, getting their 3 holes in, and then they were content to just sit on that cart and play cheerleader. But I think the kids got a real kick. Let's just say it was mom that didn't play a whole lot. The kids really got a kick out of seeing mom try to hit the ball, and they might have known how much of a struggle it was for them if they're new to the game to learn the game, and now late in the year they're seeing that, okay, maybe this game is a little bit more challenging, and because now I see mom struggling a little bit here. But then there were also those teams where good parent player, good junior player, and there was no way in heck that they were going to sub in 3 holes. They were playing all 9. So I just think the flexibility, and it really showed when we put those teams together. And I looked at this, and this is our second year doing it, but I looked at the format, and the only thing that went through my mind as a negative was, man, I don't know if people are going to quite understand how to build their teams. And so I made it a point on that night to go to every single cart and just make sure that they had their team built the way that they wanted it built. And I was absolutely amazed, actually, at how many people totally understood it. They knew exactly how they wanted to build the team. They knew the rules. And I think there might have been only one instance where I did a switch at the last minute to allow the team that signed up as 4 to break off into 2 and 2. So I just think probably the best thing about it is the flexibility of format. It just allows so many different skill levels, different age levels, different ability, different energy levels to be able to participate.
That's great, Kevin. And we hear that a lot. People love the flexibility of it. So I'm glad to hear your family's found that way too. Steve, do you have anything else you'd like to add in there as well?
Well, I agree 100% with what Kevin said. It was, competition was secondary for most people. Sure, there were teams that were very much competitive, some of the better players, of course, and they proved that during the junior league season. However, with the family members, they got to show their skills with all their family, not just a father or a parent who participated during the junior league season. It could have been a sibling. It could be a grandparent. And that's what made it the most fun. And I think the comments that I heard afterwards were certainly more of that. It's a great format, one that should definitely continue going forward and make it about family first. I think that was number one.
Fantastic. I appreciate those comments. That's great. You know, obviously for PGA Family Cup, similar to PGA Junior League, there's obvious monetary value from hosting these events, you know, from whether it's the registration fees or the food and beverage or, you know, potentially cart fees, whatever it might be. But what would you say are maybe some of the intangible benefits that you see yourself from hosting events such like PGA Family Cup?
So, and I'll piggyback on you know, something that Steve said and something that I talked about when building teams. We have a player, or we have a family that they have four boys, and some of the older boys have gone through our program and have aged out, and then some of the younger boys are currently in the program, and skill levels for this particular family were all over the map. And there's a family friend that actually played as an adult for one of these boys, and they could have easily, you know, taken this. The family friend is one of the better amateurs in the state of Michigan. Always finishes pretty high in the Michigan Open, and so he could have easily said, I'm taking the most skilled player, and you know, I think the intangible here and the lesson learned here is that you know, he opted to take the weakest player of the Suns to put on his team. They still smoked everybody, but he didn't try to just lap the field with the best team possible. And I just kind of, I like how that looks. I like the optics of that to a 15-year-old good junior golf player, that it isn't always about just drumming people in these things. There's more to it. And so to kind of make it more competitive, I just love the way that they use this opportunity to build those teams, and you know, maybe let this little guy too. I mean, the flip side of that is here's this little guy that hasn't had a whole lot of success, and now they put him with John, and he wins the whole tournament, and he's looking at players that he just played junior golf league with all year long, that he knows are better than him, that had better junior golf league seasons than him, and here he is winning the championship. So
That's awesome. That reminds me, I had one pro that I was talking with about his particular event, and he told me, he said, you know what? He goes, I can't even remember who won. He said at the scoreboard, people were talking about all these stories, and it was really, their stories were more about the time that they'd spent together that day, and rather than about the score or who won the event. And it sounds like in this case, you've got a lot of that going on as well. So that's great. Steve, any thoughts from you?
No, I definitely agree. It's the kids just wanted to be there. They didn't care how they finished. And we saw that during the junior league season too. Some teams weren't as good as others. And they still came every single week. They tried as hard as they could. They were excited to win points. They just wanted to be there. And I've been doing junior golf for a long, long time. And I think I've seen this year the highest enthusiasm I've ever seen. Where in years past, they didn't want to be there. They were forced to be there. This year, they truly wanted to be there. And I know they're going to sign up quickly for next year as well.
That's awesome. What a great point too, is I've been where you are. I was a teaching professional for over 20 years, and you're right. Sometimes you can tell the kids that were forced to be there versus the kids that want to be there. And so I'm glad to hear that you're finding through PGA Junior League, PGA Family Cup, and then obviously through COVID times that golf is something that people really want to do right now. So that's a great point. For both of you, last question for you guys at Treetops is, from hosting your events, do you have any best practices that you do that you think really, were successful that you might want to share with those that are on the call?
I'll just say how we built our, how we got signups, and it may be obvious, but sometimes when you think something's obvious and you don't mention it, it wasn't obvious to everybody, and that's just our use of PGA Junior League to build our, to build the teams for this. It was simple to get the amount of teams that we had in this, and it was from our PGA Junior League database, and quick 2 emails, and man, signups were coming in like wildfire. But also, making sure that you did explain as well as you possibly could how to build a team and the formats that were available out there. I think that was the big thing. And then we didn't necessarily do it, but just hearing some of the ideas today, I love the idea, and again, we didn't do it this year, but I think it'll sure be part of it next year, is the extra stuff, the things that maybe a team that doesn't necessarily have a chance to win via score might have the ability to have a chance being the best dressed or decorating their cart the best or whatever it might be. So I love that aspect of this as well. But that would be mine, I think, is just how easy it is to use that database to build this. And then on the flip side of that, I believe, and this was an end of the year thing, so we didn't see proof in the pudding, but I truly believe that there will be a couple of additional PGA Junior Leaguers next year because of the Family Cup, because somebody reached out to a friend that maybe missed out on signups for PGA Junior League that year, that they were able to play in this end of the year event, and they kind of saw the camaraderie of the kids that maybe played all year long, and I am certain that we'll have at least a few more handful of kids that sign up for Junior League because of this.
I 100% believe you're right. It seems to me like it is a perfect marriage right now between PGA Junior League and PGA Family Cup, and one feeds to the other, and what you just said, the other one feeds right back. And so I think you're going to see a lot of that where you'll get people participating in one program jumping into the other one as well. So thanks for those comments. And Steve, do you have any other best practices that you would like to share?
Yes, I wanted to compliment you on the assistance and the support. It was incredible. You know how many times I emailed you last minute, oh no, we have another entry. What are we going to do? How fast can we get them their stuff? And it was phenomenal how you did that. I really appreciate that very much. And that's what it takes, is support from the PGA to help us do our jobs better and to make the families and kids enjoy it more. And it went very, very well.
Steve, thanks for saying that. Chelsea and I, we do the very best we can to be the best team that we can be for you all. And we are so excited for PGA Family Cup this next year. And we know that a lot of you that are on this call are probably going to be running it for the very first time next year. So to Steve's point, call us, email us, whatever you need. We're here to help you have the most successful PGA Family Cup that you possibly can. I want to throw one last question back over to David. David, you obviously had a very successful event this year as well. Any particular best practices that you did at your course that you think made it so successful? Anything that you would like to share?
Yeah, so, well, first I have to say I'm glad Steve said something about how supportive you two are, because I thought I was the only one that was like calling and emailing you guys all the time and like somehow getting these answers back instantly that like always save the day. So I do really appreciate both of you for that. And for those of you who don't know, that's the best support team ever. So if you ever are running into any problems, then you got to just let them know and they'll help you out. But so our best practices, first I have to repeat about how I really think that par threes, that setup is one of the better ways to go. Because I think that obviously contributed to how they played a little bit faster, but also that gives you 9 chances for that magical hole-in-one. So I really do think that the par 3 setup is something that would be, if you're kind of on the fence, I would say go with the par 3s. Another thing that we did is, so I got the team kits opened up to see what they got, and I noticed there's a picture frame in there, and I was like, okay, like that's really cool. And then just kind of thinking on the fly, I was like, well, what if we took their pictures at the events? That way they'd have something to put in that frame. So I stole my wife's really nice camera. And then Logan did a great job. He was the photographer. They would check in with me, and then they'd go over to him, and he'd take a nice picture. And then as soon as the event started, I called up. Walmart has our prints. So I sent them in. I ran over there. I made it back just in time. Like I said, they played an hour and a half. So like it was really close. For future reference, I'm going to send someone else to do that next time because I was a little bit stressed. But got the nice pictures. Got the prints taken also. So they handed me their scorecard, and I was able to hand them a printed picture that was already the right size to fit into their picture frame. And I think that was just something that, like, for me, that cost maybe like $20, and like that was it. But for them, like that seemed like such a nice touch. Like there was a lot. I would hand them the picture, and there's a lot of people that like, oh my god, like wow, I did not expect that. And it was just so simple to do, but really made a big difference for them. So that's another thing that we did that I would recommend doing too.
Perfect. Thank you guys for your comments and your thoughts. David, Steve, Kevin, thank you guys so much. Does anybody have any questions specifically for David, Steve, or Kevin?
Sounds like you guys answered everybody's questions, gave them all the information they need to have a very successful event next year. I do want to make a couple comments before we close things out. The idea that David just said about, taking the pictures and putting them in the picture frame and giving them to the families before they leave. Several years ago, my family, we played in the Kentucky PGA had a family championship about 5 years ago. And we played in that, and they did that. And if you walk into my husband's office at work right now, you would see our family picture in that picture frame on his desk. I think that's a wonderful touch to do with the picture frame that we send out. And I think that basically is exactly what PGA Family Cup is about. It is about making memories with your family and capturing those memories for a lifetime. And as a PGA professional, I think PGA Family Cup is just such an incredible opportunity to bring the whole family together. And especially right now in this COVID world that we're living in, it's something that the families can do and still feel like they're going to a healthy environment to do so. So I'm through the moon excited about what PGA Family Cup can bring to not only you as PGA professionals and to your facilities, but really, quite frankly, just to your families. And giving them those family experiences together and something that they are truly going to remember. And they're going to associate those positive memories with you and your golf courses, which is probably just going to mean that you're going to have a lot of very, very loyal customers and lifelong golfers that are being created through that experience. I did want to share one best practice that I failed to mention earlier that I've heard from some people. And they are considering next year when they're doing their PGA Family Cup events is in their original package for the fee that they're going to be doing, they're considering bundling in some family clinics. So for example, hey, we might add another $50 onto the price, but your entire family gets to come out for, a 45-minute clinic with, one of our PGA golf professionals. Something that even furthers that engagement that you're getting through that PGA Family Cup experience and gives you one more opportunity to spend time with that family together. So just something for you to think about next year as you kind of look at what you want your PGA Family Cup to be like. And, like we said before, you can always call us and we'll be happy to kind of talk you through what might be your best options at your facility, whether you want to go with a single event or a series and exactly, what you want to offer. But just something there for you to think about. I have really enjoyed doing these 4 webinars with Chelsea and with the Michigan PGA professionals. So I want to thank all of you that have jumped on the webinars to attend, and definitely thank all of our guest speakers. So, you know, David, Kevin, Steve today, we really appreciate your time, your expertise, and your great stories from the day. So as we head into this winter time, I know that daylight savings time kicks in this week because my husband has reminded me about the last 40 days in a row that it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I think he's ready for a little bit of a break. So I know that you all are as well. So I really hope you all get some time this winter to kind of rest, rejuvenate, and, you know, just sit back and think about what you've accomplished this year, because it's been a rough year. And I think you guys are all amazing rock stars for everything that you've accomplished this year. So be sure to congratulate yourself on a great year as well. Chelsea, I'll let you go ahead and kind of close us out for the day, but thank you all so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to echo Kim's comments. We are definitely here for you if you do need help with anything Junior League, Family Cup, or even player development related. I do just want to remind everybody we do have our section fall meeting on November 9th. So that's coming soon. It is a virtual meeting. So there will be a link sent out and you'll be able to join there. We also do have all of our webinars up on our website. So if you did miss them, they are on the PGA Junior League page on our website. And those topics include PGA.coach, in-house leagues, and then just kind of leveling up your PGA Junior League experience and all the different types of add-ons. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you so much for Kim for being a trooper through this webinar series. And we hope everybody has a really great rest of the week. And hopefully we see you guys on Monday, November 9th.
Take care, everybody.